Were you one of the 55.2 billion players that have played Blox Fruits? Well, if you weren't living under a rock these past few years, you would know that Blox Fruits used to be the most popular Roblox game, and it wasn't even close. But fast forward now to 2025, Blox Fruits isn't even in the top 5 games anymore. And while yes, it's still popular than most Roblox games, something's different. And anyone who's ever played Blox Fruits could tell you the same thing. Blox Fruits is dying. Now we're going to start this off at the golden era of Blox Fruits, when it became super popular and every YouTuber hopped on the wave to make content on it. The leopard fruit update. Fun fact, this is actually when I started creating Blox Fruits content myself. And let me just say, going into this game, everything felt fresh. The leopard fruit offered really cool gameplay loops that I haven't seen in many other games. It felt like the game was filled with life. However, what I didn't know is that prior to this update, players waited 6 months for them to add this update. And you'll see why this actually becomes an issue later on. So after 3 months went by, everyone was really enjoying the leopard fruit update, and YouTubers like myself were creating tons of new content, and we were craving for more. And guess what? The Blox Fruits devs were actually cooking. So 3 months after the leopard fruit update, the Race V4 update came out and everyone loved it, which in my opinion is one of the best things they have ever added into this game. You basically become a god with a giga power boost and aura farm on everyone. But there was an overlooked issue with this update. It was insanely grindy to unlock Race V4. I mean, it's literally been almost 3 years since it came out and some people still don't have it. But we were willing to endure the excruciating long amount of time it took to find Mirage Island, wait for a full moon, and find other players who will help you with the trial. And then finally unlock one of the many Race V4. And after you unlock the Race V4, you basically had to repeat that process 3 times to finally max it out. Otherwise, you would just power up and lose your power in like 10 seconds. But it's okay. I mean, it's Race V4. Something as epic and game-changing as that is worth the grind in my opinion. But I'm sure you can see where this is heading. So after the Race V4 update, players were pretty satisfied. And who wouldn't be? 2 back-to-back updates that innovated the game in the way it's played. Things were looking good. And over the course of 5 months, everyone started completing everything there was to do from the 2 updates. But this is where things start getting rough. Players wanted more content because, well, it's been 5 months and we haven't really gotten anything. We got a Valentine's event, but to be honest, no one really cares about that. The event doesn't offer anything special. So another 4 months went by and we still got nothing. It felt like the Blox Fruits devs went to the store to grab some milk. Imagine 9 months of no new content. Players were starting to get fed up until finally, a month later, the devs came back and they released the Sea expansion update, followed by the Kitsune update. It introduced a lot of new things, such as the Sanguine Art fighting style, Sound Fruit, Kitsune Fruit, T-Rex Fruit, Mammoth Fruit, the Leviathan Sea Raid, and they even hit a crazy peak of over 2 million players, which at the time was the most concurrent players on a single Roblox game, and it also helped Roblox reach their all-time peak concurrent players record at the time. Now remember how I said the grind for Race V4 was excruciating? Well, in this update, when they added the Leviathan Island, let me just say the Leviathan grind was by far 100 times worse. I mean, on paper, you were supposed to find the Leviathan Island, beat the Leviathan, and unlock all the cool new gears and abilities. But bro, when I tell you it took me 2 days of basically non-stop grinding just to find one Leviathan, I literally can't even name any game I've ever played where I had to grind 2 days just to find a boss other than Blox Fruit. And by the way, you had to spend a ton of fragments, which costed either Robux or by completing a ton of raids just for a chance for the Leviathan to spawn in over the next few hours. Because the Blox Fruits devs also thought it would be a good idea that if you didn't find the Leviathan after 3 hours of just sailing the ocean, you had to wait another 2 hours just to try again, because it put it on a global cooldown. And that's not all. When you were searching for the Leviathan, you have lightning and all these mobs attacking your ship, so your ship would just sink after 5 minutes. It was basically a given that you were going to die before even finding the Leviathan, which already had less than a 1% chance to spawn in. And you can see how that's an issue. But why even grind for it in the first place? Technically, you can just not fight the Leviathan. Well, remember the Sanguine Art fighting style that they added? Yeah. It was the most broken fighting style in the game at the time because you could lifesteal, one-tap people, and it had the fastest M1s in the game. And if you didn't have it, guess what? You're just gonna get cooked by someone who does. And the only way to get it was by collecting a Leviathan's heart, which you had to get by defeating the Leviathan and bringing it back to shore. I don't think you should be grinding that much for a fighting style. And I'll say it right now, I wouldn't even wish this type of grind on my worst enemy. It was that bad. And honestly, this is where the downfall begins. Don't get me wrong, they added a lot of new content in behind that update, but a lot of it was just kind of the same thing we had before, just with new fruits and a horrible time grinding. But it gets worse because they didn't even add a single update for a whole year after that, which, by the way, when they did drop that last update, the devs said they were going to be more on top of everything, because last time it was a 10-month wait, which is a crazy long amount of time for an update. So within this year of no update, content started getting stale and there wasn't really anything else to do. Most people already grinded out everything after a couple months, and this is honestly why I think the downfall started. A really bad update schedule, no game-changing content, and just more obnoxious grinding. But during that 1-year time period with no updates, the devs were hyping up their next update, the Dragon rework update. The devs were hyping the Dragon update up, making it seem like it's worth the 1-year wait because they're adding so many crazy new features and so many game-changing things. But when it actually launched, everything felt the exact same. Just a couple redesigns of some of the UI, some map changes, Dragon Race C4, and the Dragon rework, which, don't get me wrong, everything they redesigned and changed looked sick, but it's the same gameplay loop. And for a whole year of waiting for new content, there was no actual new content to play. And honestly, after this, it was just a downward trend from there. And Blox Fruits started slowly fizzling out, getting half the average players than they did the year before, just a couple months after the Dragon rework update. But I don't want this video to just be hating on Blox Fruits, saying Blox Fruits sucks and there's no hope for it anymore, because there still is. There's still a ton of new untapped potential that this game can still offer. So I'm gonna give my opinion on what I think could make this game thrive again and create that spark factor that it once had. First things first is start working on C4. C3 has been out forever, and I'm sure a lot of players just want a new scenery of islands to explore. I can tell you right now, one of the main reasons I got into Blox Fruits was because there was so much to explore. I like the fact that even if I thought I explored everything, there was still a whole new mountain of things left for me to find out. Next, I'd start introducing more dynamic boss battles. Right now, it literally just feels like the bosses are normal mobs with more HP, because that's exactly what it is. If I'm fighting Big Mom, I would expect her to be OP like she was in the show, with cool abilities. Instead, she just fires an unreactable beam and does a basic NPC swing with more damage. I think bosses should get their own attack animations and feel like a boss, not just one of the other NPCs. Like, imagine Blox Fruits added C4 with tons of new content like Gear 5, fighting Kaido, maybe even side quests that help progress the actual storyline of Blox Fruits, or even special NPCs like Gold D. Roger, and he takes you on a side mission to enter a pirate dungeon where you can unlock cool new items. I think the fruits in this game are really high quality, but the rest of the actual game got left behind. So in my opinion, if Blox Fruits wants a chance to revive themselves, they should focus on the actual gameplay mechanics in the game and innovate. They've already done it with the fruits and the fighting styles, so they can definitely do it with their actual content. They have a whole team of talented developers and a giant community of players who give them tons of feedback and ideas. Blox Fruits just needs to lock in. Make sure to like, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about the current state of Blox Fruits. It's your boy Ominous, and I'm out. Peace.